Michigan real estate brokerage agreements.
Question 1. A resident is on a fall risk protocol. Which of the following interventions is appropriate? Option A. Leaving bed rails up at all times. Option B. Placing the bed in the highest position. Option C. Keeping the floor clear of clutter and placing a fall mat. Option D. Turning off the call light so they don't get up. The correct answer is option C. Keeping the floor clear of clutter and placing a fall mat.
Managing rentals for another for compensation falls within Michigan real estate regulation. In the described setting, the brokerage should document the step and apply it before moving forward. Self-management and unrelated professional services are classified differently.
Question 2. A resident is complaining of a dry mouth. What can you offer them? Option A. A glass of orange juice. Option B. A cup of water or ice chips, if not NPO. Option C. A piece of hard candy. Option D. Coffee.
The correct answer is option C. A property management account. Managed minus property money is handled through accounts dedicated to the property minus management operation. Applied to this scenario, the licensee should follow the rule before creating further obligations for a party. Personal funds and land records do not serve that accounting function.
Question 3. A resident's pulse oximeter reads 88%. What should you do? Option A. Reposition the probe and call the nurse. Option B. Increase the oxygen flow rate yourself. Option C. Document it as normal. Option D. Remove the probe and place it on their toe.
The correct answer is option A. Potentially unenforceable under Michigan restrictions. Michigan limits certain long-term agreements that encumber future home-sale listing rights. For exam purposes, focus on the regulated relationship rather than an informal business custom. The arrangement is not a deed or a universal listing requirement. Stressed about your real estate? We can take real estate for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 4. At an open house, the brokerage discusses a listing agreement that discriminates on a prohibited basis. Which conclusion is most accurate? While the file concerns a subdivision lot, a listing agreement, and a cooperating brokerage. Option A. The clause becomes valid after advertising. Option B. The clause controls if the seller requests it. Option C. The broker must follow it without question. Option D. The discriminatory provision or conduct is unlawful. The correct answer is option D. The discriminatory provision or conduct is unlawful. A client instruction cannot require a licensee to violate housing civil rights law. The transaction context changes the facts, but it does not change the underlying licensing duty. Private preference does not override public legal protections. Question 5. A compliance question in Muskegon concerns the minimum age for an initial salesperson applicant. Which action or statement is appropriate? While the file concerns a rural acreage, a lease application, and a rejected counteroffer. Option A. At least 21 years old. Option B. At least 16 years old. Option C. At least 18 years old. Option D. At least 19 years old. The correct answer is option C. At least 18 years old. Michigan requires an initial salesperson applicant to have reached legal adulthood. A written office procedure should produce the same result in comparable transactions. Higher age thresholds are not part of the current salesperson checklist. Question 6. How should a Michigan salesperson handle a situation involving the approved education needed before examination eligibility, while the file concerns a single-family residence, assigned agency disclosure, and an assumed business name? Option A. A complete 60 hours of continuing education. Option B. A complete 90 hours of broker education. Option C. Complete 24 hours of approved education. Option D. A complete 40 hours of approved pre-licensure education. The correct answer is option D. Complete 40 hours of approved pre-licensure education. The salesperson pathway begins with 40 approved instructional hours. In the described setting, the brokerage should document the step and apply it before moving forward. Broker coursework and renewal education serve different licensing purposes. Question 7. Which choice best applies the state rule concerning the civil rights component within salesperson pre-licensure education to a renewal review, while the file concerns a small apartment building, an online advertisement proof, and a security deposit question? Option A can include a federal tax workshop. Option B can include 8 hours of appraisal only. Option C include at least 4 hours on civil rights law and equal opportunity in housing. Option D can include 1 optional ethics seminar. The correct answer is option C. Include at least 4 hours on civil rights law and equal opportunity in housing. A defined portion of the qualifying course addresses housing equality and civil rights law. Applied to this scenario, the licensee should follow the rule before creating further obligations for a party. An unrelated elective does not satisfy this subject specific mandate. Question 8. A file from Battle Creek raises an issue about the examination provider used for the Michigan salesperson test. Which answer identifies the governing requirement, while the file concerns a office condominium, a listing agreement, and a dual representation concern? Option A, pass an examination administered by the employing broker. Option B, pass only a school final examination. Option C, pass the salesperson examination administered by SI. Option D, pass a county assessor examination. The correct answer is option C, pass the salesperson examination administered by SI. Michigan uses an independent testing vendor for the salesperson licensing examination. For exam purposes, focus on the regulated relationship rather than an informal business custom. An employing broker may sponsor the applicant but does not administer the state examination. Are you looking for real estate actual questions? Visit our website pokerexams.com to access real estate study guide with actual questions and answers. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get real estate answer key today. Question 9. Before completing an advertising campaign, which rule should the buyer representative apply to the step that produces the candidate identification needed to schedule the test, while the file concerns a condominium unit, a lease application, and a protected class inquiry? Option A, wait until a license is issued. Option B, schedule with SI before applying. Option C, ask a broker to create the candidate number. Option D, submit the online salesperson application and education proof first. The correct answer is option D. Submit the online salesperson application and education proof first. Exam eligibility is connected to the online application record and verified course completion. The transaction context changes the facts, but it does not change the underlying licensing duty. The identifier is not created by a school or a prospective employer. Question 10. A Michigan exam candidate reviews a scenario involving the employment relationship required before an active salesperson license is issued. Which option reflects the current licensing framework, while the file concerns a retail suite, assigned agency disclosure, and a disputed repair credit? Option A, use a title company as the statutory employer. Option B, work independently without a broker. Option C, register with a local board only. Option D, obtain sponsorship from a licensed individual broker or broker company. The correct answer is option D. Obtain sponsorship from a licensed individual broker or broker company. A Michigan salesperson practices through a licensed employing broker. A written office procedure should produce the same result in comparable transactions. Independent brokerage activity requires a different level of licensure. Question 11. The broker's policy manual addresses the number of brokers to which a salesperson may be licensed at one time. Which provision should it contain, while the file concerns a manufactured home site, an online advertisement proof, and an electronic signature? Option A, 1 employing broker. Option B, 2 brokers if both consent. Option C, no broker after passing the examination. Option D, any number of affiliated brokers. The correct answer is option A, 1 employing broker. The salesperson license is tied to a single employing brokerage at a time. In the described setting, the brokerage should document the step and apply it before moving forward. Consent between firms does not create an exception to the 1-employer structure. Question 12. A regulator asks about whether a person may simultaneously hold salesperson and broker licenses during a brokerage review. Which response demonstrates compliance, while the file concerns a 2-unit rental, a listing agreement, and a referral arrangement? Option A. The restriction applies only to associate brokers. Option B. The person may not hold both license types at the same time. Option C. Both are allowed if issued in different counties. Option D. Both licenses may remain active indefinitely. The correct answer is option B. The person may not hold both license types at the same time. Michigan separates the salesperson credential from broker-level licensure. Applied to this scenario, the licensee should follow the rule before creating further obligations for a party. County location does not alter the statewide licensing classification. Question 13. Which statement would be safest for a team member to follow when the usual validity period of initial salesperson pre-licensure education becomes relevant, while the file concerns a historic residence, a lease application, and a team social minus media post? Option A, 30-6 months from course completion. Option B, 5 years from examination. Option C, 6 months from enrollment. Option D, 1 year from application. The correct answer is option A, 30-6 months from course completion. Initial salesperson coursework remains usable for a 3-year period after completion. For exam purposes, focus on the regulated relationship rather than an informal business custom. The examination and application have their own shorter validity periods. Question 14. A dispute arises during a lease negotiation over the usual validity period of a passing salesperson exam result. Which principal resolves the issue, while the file concerns a student rental, assigned agency disclosure, and a record inspection request? Option A, 90 days from testing. Option B, 3 years from testing. Option C, no expiration after passing. Option D, 1 year from the passing date. The correct answer is option D, 1 year from the passing date. A passing licensing score is time-minus limited even though it has been reported to the application. The transaction context changes the facts, but it does not change the underlying licensing duty. Course validity and license minus cycle length do not extend the score period. Question 15. In Holland, a licensee must decide how to proceed with the usual validity period of a paid salesperson application. Which decision is consistent with Michigan requirements, while the file concerns a vacant commercial parcel, an online advertisement proof, and a branch-office distance issue? Option A, 2 years from course completion. Option B, until the applicant chooses to reactivate it. Option C, 30 days from submission. Option D, 1 year from the payment date. The correct answer is option D, 1 year from the payment date. The online application remains open for a defined 12-month period. A written office procedure should produce the same result in comparable transactions. A valid course certificate does not keep an expired application open. Question 16. Which exam answer accurately classifies the rule involving the requirement for a non-Michigan resident applying for a salesperson license, while the file concerns an industrial site, a listing agreement, and a financing contingency? Option A, establish a Michigan homestead. Option B, submit a consent to service of process. Option C, open a branch office. Option D, appoint a county assessor. The correct answer is option B, submit a consent to service of process. A non-resident applicant must provide a mechanism for legal process connected to Michigan regulation. In the described setting, the brokerage should document the step and apply it before moving forward. Residency in the state is not itself a condition for salesperson eligibility. Question 17. A new policy is being drafted for the allowed address arrangement for a salesperson or associate broker. Which language belongs in the policy, while the file concerns a new construction home, a lease application, and an unrepresented consumer? Option A, a post-office box may be used. Option B, every licensee must use a storefront. Option C, an out-state address automatically voids the license. Option D, only a broker company may use a post-office box. The correct answer is option A, a post-office box may be used. Individual salespersons and associate brokers have more flexible address options than brokerage offices. Applied to this scenario, the licensee should follow the rule before creating further obligations for a party. The mailing choice does not remove non-resident service process requirements. Question 18. During team training, the supervising broker tests knowledge of the process used when a salesperson changes employing brokers. Which answer should the team select, while the file concerns a mixed-use building, assigned agency disclosure, and a confidential price limit? Option A, keep both employers until renewal. Option B, submit a ME+ modification request for a license transfer. Option C, transfer the license through the county register of deeds. Option D, file a new pre-licensure course application. The correct answer is option B, submit a ME+ modification request for a license transfer. Employment changes are recorded through the state licensing system. For exam purposes, focus on the regulated relationship rather than an informal business custom. A deed-recording office has no role in transferring an occupational license. Stressed about your real estate? We can take real estate for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass in payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 19. A consumer asks the brokerage to explain the status that may follow removal by an employer before expiration. Which explanation reflects Michigan law, while the file concerns a cooperative unit, an online advertisement proof, and a change of employing broker? Option A, inactive county registration. Option B, no employer status. Option C, permanent revocation. Option D, automatic broker status. The correct answer is option B, no employer status. Michigan does not offer a formal license minus escrow classification for salespersons. The transaction context changes the facts, but it does not change the underlying licensing duty. That status does not authorize independent real estate practice. Question 20. Which compliance step is required when the transaction facts involve the standard salesperson license renewal cycle, while the file concerns a farm parcel, a listing agreement, and an owner minus licensee conflict? Option A, 3 years. Option B, 5 years. Option C, 2 years. Option D, 1 year. The correct answer is option A, 3 years. Michigan salesperson credentials operate on a 3-year renewal cycle. A written office procedure should produce the same result in comparable transactions. The cycle length does not eliminate annual subject requirements within continuing education. Question 21. A property manager notices a potential problem involving the total continuing education expected within a full 3-year cycle. Which response should occur first, while the file concerns a lakefront cottage, a lease application, and an expired license issue? Option A, at least 40 clock hours. Option B, at least 6 clock hours. Option C, at least 18 clock hours. Option D, at least 12 clock hours. The correct answer is option C, at least 18 clock hours. A full renewal cycle requires 18 hours of eligible professional education. In the described setting, the brokerage should document the step and apply it before moving forward. Pre-licensure coursework cannot simply be relabeled as renewal credit. Question 22. The state portion of the exam presents facts about the annual law minus related continuing education component. Which result is supported, while the file concerns a townhouse, assigned agency disclosure, and a property minus management payment? Option A, no annual subject requirement. Option B, at least 2 hours involving laws, rules, and court cases. Option C, 4 hours of appraisal each year. Option D, 1 hour every 3 years. The correct answer is option B, at least 2 hours involving laws, rules, and court cases. Each year of the license cycle includes a real minus estate law component. Applied to this scenario, the licensee should follow the rule before creating further obligations for a party. General elective hours do not replace the designated legal instruction. Question 23. Which brokerage practice properly addresses the annual fair minus housing continuing education component in the Battle Creek transaction, while the file concerns a urban infill property, an online advertisement proof, and a delayed possession term? Option A, 1 hour of tax preparation. Option B, 3 hours of advertising only. Option C, at least 1 hour involving fair housing compliance. Option D, no fair minus housing instruction after licensure. The correct answer is option C, at least 1 hour involving fair housing compliance. Housing minus equality instruction remains an annual part of professional education. For exam purposes, focus on the regulated relationship rather than an informal business custom. A general business course does not satisfy this designated subject by itself. Question 24. A licensee is comparing 4 procedures related to the timing of continuing education in relation to online renewal. Which procedure is lawful, while the file concerns a subdivision lot, a listing agreement, and a cooperating brokerage? Option A, finish the required education before submitting the renewal. Option B, substitute a new licensing examination. Option C, complete education only if audited. Option D, renew first and complete education later. The correct answer is option A, finish the required education before submitting the renewal. The licensee must be able to truthfully attest to educational compliance during renewal. The transaction context changes the facts, but it does not change the underlying licensing duty. An audit is a verification mechanism rather than the event that creates the obligation. Question 25. At the end of a transaction minus file review, the parties question the record minus retention period for proof supporting a continuing education certification. Which statement provides the best guidance, while the file concerns a rural acreage, a lease application, and a rejected counteroffer? Option A, permanently with the county clerk. Option B, 1 year after the course. Option C, until the license card arrives. Option D, at least 4 years after the certification date. The correct answer is option D, at least 4 years after the certification date. Licensees are responsible for keeping acceptable evidence of completed renewal education. A written office procedure should produce the same result in comparable transactions. Course providers or local offices do not replace the licensee's documentation duty.